Awesome. Okay, I got the stream working. Had some technical difficulties. Okay, cool. So, welcome everybody. I decided that I am going to live stream this video for you guys instead of shooting and editing and producing a whole video. I just sometimes enjoy it more to actually sit down and talk to you guys live. Sorry if it is a bit noisy. We have a lot of dogs in our neighborhood and they bark at literally everything. So if you hear the dogs barking, I'm really, really sorry about that. That's not really much I can do about that. Okay, so yeah. This video is going to be about Aquarius season. So this is going to be about when the sun enters Aquarius tomorrow on the 20th of January. And then basically while the sun is moving through the sign of Aquarius, what you can expect. Okay, so hello Dash and hello Natural Explorer. Thank you for joining us. It's so good to see you guys here. Okay, firstly, Aquarius season. So the sun enters Aquarius on January 19th. Now, what Aquarius season basically represents is a time period where we are more focused on other people, we are more focused on the community, we're more focused on friendships and basically just engaging with other people, getting to know them, sharing different points of view, different values and just different ideas with these people. So obviously, if we're always going to be exposed to the same people our entire life, we're not really going to grow. We're not really going to expand that much because the people we already know have already taught us, you know, what they can teach us, and we've basically already learned the lessons that we need to learn from these people. However, Aquarius season is a time where we need to connect with new people. It is important that we actually put ourselves out there and we allow ourselves to just connect with new people and that kind of thing, because without this change of perception that we gain from engaging from these people, we won't really grow, we won't really expand our minds, we won't really expand where we're at. So that's basically what Aquarius season is about. It's about creating friendships, it's about creating new connections, it's about meeting new people and that kind of thing. The best things to do during Aquarius season, I will be uploading a video maybe later or tomorrow, I'll see how I feel. But in this video I've got a list of 10 things that you can do during Aquarius season. But the best things to do during Aquarius season is basically to just be as unique and original as you can possibly can. So just completely be yourself, because you want to attract people towards you through being yourself. You don't want to be pretentious. Like, you don't want to attract the wrong people towards you now. You want to attract the right people, if that makes sense. So be yourself. And even if people don't really like who you are now, if they don't like you being yourself, that's fine. You don't really need to have those people in your life. The second thing is friends and friendships. So pay a lot of attention to your friends, pay a lot of attention to your friendships and spend more time on them. Instead of spending time alone, spend time with your friends. This is also a very, very good time to meet new people. So go out there and establish new connections with people. Even if you can't leave the house because of COVID, then see if you can like join like a new online group or like a new online community or something like that, and through that you're able to engage with new people. So the goal during Aquarius season is to meet at least one new person that you can have a lifelong friendship with. So that is what we need to basically focus on. We need to focus on finding that friendship and finding that person that we can actually connect with and have this friendship with. So yeah, that's basically what Aquarius season is all about. It's about other people, it's about friends, it's also about the community. So if you can involve yourself more in the community, that would be great. Things like charity organizations, things like volunteering your time and your help at specific organizations, that can also help a lot right now. So yeah, it's basically about reaching out your hand into the community and making friends, and basically just letting your guard down and opening up space for new people in your life. That's what Aquarius season is all about. Okay. Then on, oh, these lights are making my eyes, it gets like this weird imprint on my eyes from these lights. They're so bright. Okay. So next up, we're going to have a full moon in Leo on January 28th. Now, a full moon in Leo is a very, it's a very warm, how do I say, hearty full moon. So basically, what this means is, while the sun is moving through Aquarius, we basically become aware of what other people need, become aware of how we interact with other people. Kinesis films, Mercury retrograde will be occurring as well. Yes, I'm going to talk about a Mercury retrograde after the full moon in Leo, because I know it will be retrograding through Aquarius. I'm going to chat about that as well. Okay, so what was I saying? So Aquarius season is a time where we reach out to people and we open ourselves up more to other people, and we actually focus less on ourselves, our own needs and that kind of thing. However, on the night of the full moon, we will connect more with the desire of our heart. So what I mean by that is, whatever it is that your heart truly, truly wants, you will be made aware of this on the night of the full moon, and you will most likely be able to pursue this. Very often we feel like what we feel and our feelings and what's going on inside us is invalid, and it's not actually, something that's substantial. Maybe we feel like we feel a certain way because we've got rose-colored glasses on, and we're not really seeing things for what they are, or other people might be telling us not to feel this way because of X, Y, Z. There can be so many reasons why we feel like we shouldn't feel the way we feel. However, on the night of the full moon in Leo, you will come to some kind of deep realization that your feelings are 100% valid, your emotions are entirely valid, and there's no reason why you shouldn't feel what you feel. You shouldn't let other people tell you, don't feel this. You shouldn't let other people tell you it's not right to feel this, or you should feel a different way. You know why you feel that way. You know why you might have a specific type of love or affection towards a certain person in your heart. You might know why you have a certain kind of attraction towards a certain dream or goal that you want to manifest in life. You know exactly why you're connected with these things. And even though other people might tell you, no, don't be connected with these things, no, you're crazy for feeling that way, you're actually not. So that is more or less what the full moon in Leo is about. It's about accepting and really, really feeling the sense of, I know who I am and I know what I'm feeling, and what I'm feeling is entirely valid because I'm entirely aware of who I am, what my needs are, and where I'm basically going in life. It's also important with the full moon in Leo to not feel shy, to let out what is in your heart and what's going on inside you, and to actually share that with people and share it with the world. So Leo is a sign that is very, Leo is basically the sign of Leo is basically the sign of showbiz. So Leo is the sign of expression. Many of you might probably be aware of the stereotype that's associated with Leo in terms of where they like to be the center of attention. They like to attract people towards them and they want people to pay attention to them. Now, in a way, we need to approach our emotions this way during the full moon in Leo. So we actually need to feel really, really proud about it. We need to feel like, hey, this is what I'm feeling. Look here. Observe my emotion. Love it. Honor it. We need to basically take the emotions we have, take what we're feeling, and we need to feel proud about it. Like we want to share it with other people. We want to tell other people what's going on inside us. So that's basically what we can expect during the full moon in Leo. We can expect a time where we feel a lot of pride and we feel a sense of, I actually don't know what the right word is to say right now. And we just feel a sense of honor and pride and respect and confidence within the emotions that we feel. And we will not let anyone tell us that we're wrong for feeling the way we feel. And we're fully aware of where that emotion comes from, if that makes sense. Okay. Okay, and on February 1st and 2nd, Saturn and Jupiter have their mean orbital conjunction. It's an ancient mundane technique, mean epicycle conjunction, not the visible one. Okay, that's so interesting. Well, I'm not going to be talking about that orbital conjunction in this live stream. I'm mainly going to be covering the major transits. So those are like, you know, the most well-known ones. Okay. I might make a little separate video on that. I'll see how I feel. And then maybe I can tell you guys what that's all about. Okay, so January 30th, we will have a Mercury retrograde in Aquarius. Okay, now, as you guys know, Mercury retrogrades, I think they occur between 3 to 4 times a year. So we actually experience Mercury retrogrades quite often. Around every 3 or so months, you can experience a Mercury retrograde. So basically, when Mercury retrogrades, I don't know if any of you guys know anything about Mercury retrograde, but I'm just going to fill you guys in quickly. Oh, that is a very loud helicopter going over my house. Okay, so basically Mercury is the planet that rules over our mind. Mercury is the planet that rules over our thought processes. So our sense of mental clarity or our sense of mental confusion that we experience in our day-to-day lives is usually indicated by the transits of Mercury. Now, generally when Mercury is in its normal direct motion, we are able to function and perform as we usually do. We're able to just do whatever we need to do. We can focus, we can concentrate easier. Depending obviously on what sign Mercury is in, we will then adopt the qualities of that sign mentally, and we will be able to mainly use the positive traits of the sign while Mercury is direct. However, when Mercury goes retrograde, we aren't actually able to experience the positive side of the sign, such as when Mercury would be direct. We actually experience the more negative side, but more mentally. So what I mean by this is, let's say this Mercury retrograde is happening in Aquarius. So let's say the positive sides of Aquarius is being open and receptive to friendships. It's being logical, being very intelligent, being very focused on the future and focused on the community. Now, when Mercury retrogrades in Aquarius, we will have the exact opposite of all those traits. So we will not be logical or intelligent whatsoever. It will be difficult for us to actually make sense of things around us or to actually apply logic onto these things. We become much more detached and impersonal in our interactions with people. So we aren't as focused on friendships and actually creating friendships and connections with people. We kind of just don't want to deal with people. On the other hand, we also might not want to get as involved with the community because people might be irritating us. We also might not want to think about the future anymore because the future can just be a source of pain or a source of confusion or just a source of complete frustration. So while Mercury is retrograde in Aquarius, this is more or less what we can experience. Because Aquarius is the sign of technology, more so than when Mercury is retrograde in any other sign, we can expect technology to give us quite a few issues. Usually when Mercury is retrograde in other signs, there might be a few issues with technology, but when Mercury is retrograde in Aquarius, it's really bad. Because like I said, Aquarius is actually the sign that rules over technology, and when Mercury retrogrades through it, yeah, a lot of technology actually breaks. So make sure that you obviously, do the usual things you need to do during Mercury retrograde. Back up your files on your laptop, your tablet, your phone, your computer, or whatever the case may be. Make sure that, everything has been serviced. If something needs to be serviced, make sure it gets serviced. Don't make any long-term decisions during this time. So it's always advised that people should not make any decisions during Mercury retrograde because we actually can't think clearly whatsoever. And the decisions we make are just completely irrational and we aren't actually able to think things through properly whatsoever. So yeah, don't make any important decisions during Mercury retrograde. That's really, really important. And just wait for Mercury retrograde and the shadow period of the Mercury retrograde to be over before you make decisions. Mercury retrograde is a really good time to contemplate your decisions. It's a good time to think about what you will be doing and to reflect on it. To basically plan and to logically put everything into place that you need to, but don't make a decision. Just think about it first. When Mercury is direct, you can make a decision. The other thing about Mercury retrograde is do not engage with any old friends, or not old friends, but more like your enemies. So if there's any people in your life who pop out during Mercury retrograde period and they want to maybe clear out, any bad air that they possibly might have with you, or they want to start friendship or a relationship again, don't. Very, very often you will notice that during Mercury retrograde, people will enter your life that are part of your past, and they will try and be part of your life again. However, these people need to stay in your past. These are people who must remain in your past. So if anyone who's kind of like part of your history pops up back into your life during Mercury retrograde, don't let them in. Don't let them get too close to you, because things can basically spiral into a very negative state eventually if you do allow this. There's a very, very good reason why you left this person in your past. There's a very good reason why this person's not part of your life anymore, and you need to remind yourself of this. While Mercury is in retrograde, you can't rationally think why this person is not part of your life anymore. You might think to yourself, oh, whatever this person did wasn't so bad, or this person won't be so bad this time around, or whatever the case may be. Your mind will tell you lies that will say to you that you should allow these people back into your life. But like I said, you're actually not thinking clearly enough to do this. And you must remind yourself why you put this person in your past and why this person is not currently in your life anymore. Kinesis films, dogs and helicopters. You must live in a prison. I live in South Africa. So it's not really a prison, but yeah, there are a lot of dogs and helicopters around. Okay. Signing contracts, new jobs, new purchases, etc. are excellent the week around the station direct, because from that point onwards things progress forward. Yeah, no, you're totally right, Kinesis films. So you basically, you don't sign contracts during Mercury retrograde, you don't get a new job, you don't buy yourself anything that is expensive, you just wait for all of that. And then, yeah, basically when the retrograde period is over, you can actually pursue with all of those things. So yeah, you're totally on the right track with that. Basically when Mercury is in retrograde, we just need to go in standstill for a bit, if that makes sense. So we just need to not do too much, not make too many decisions, and it's more a period of self-reflection. What's very interesting is, a little interesting piece of info for you guys, is that Mercury rules the mind, like I said. And generally when Mercury is direct, our mind is more extroverted focused. So what I mean by that is, when Mercury is direct, our mind focuses on the external world more. So we focus more on the things we're engaging with, the people we're engaging with, our experiences, whatever the case may be. But when Mercury turns retrograde, our mind turns inward. So instead of having our focus on other people and on external factors in our life, we become more introspective. And that is why a Mercury retrograde period is actually a very, very essential, vital time for introspection, because this is a time where our minds focus more on what's going on inside as opposed to what's actually going on outside. I hope that makes sense to you guys. Okay, so Natural Explorer, Mercury and Virgo related, which is, as far as the tarot is concerned, relates to the Magician and Hermit cards of the major arcana. Sounds like the Mercury retrograde is more Hermit related than the Magician. Yeah, look, it obviously, it's, wait. The introspection you just mentioned related to Mercury retrograde. Yeah, it's so weird. Like, as I was reading your comment, I was like, oh, that's so interesting, because that's literally just what I said. Interesting, we're like weirdly thinking the same thing here. Okay, so anyway, let's move on. So after the Mercury retrograde in Aquarius, we have Venus entering Aquarius. Wow, we actually have so much going on in Aquarius. It's going to be the Sun in Aquarius, Mercury retrograde in Aquarius, Venus in Aquarius. There's going to be a new moon in Aquarius. And there's also going to be a Saturn square Uranus in Aquarius as well later on in the month. So Aquarius theme is very strong during Aquarius season, more so than usual. Okay, so Venus enters Aquarius. As you guys know, Venus is the planet of love. Venus is the planet of beauty, the planet of harmony. It's the planet that rules over our relationships, and it's the planet that rules over how we actually engage with, deal with, and interact with other people. Now, obviously, depending on where Venus goes, this will indicate what our love style and our love nature will be like, and how we will basically deal with other people for that specific time period. Now, okay, wait, before I go into that, I just want to read this comments. actually, I noticed when Mercury is retrograde, I'm busiest with work, contacts, and business, always overwhelmed with work. Oh well, I guess it's different for everyone. I always get overwhelmed with work during Mercury retrograde as well. Like I've noticed I'll get, a lot of people demanding stuff, or I'll get like lots of projects coming in, but I can't actually focus. So I'll get incredibly overwhelmed and I'll get so much, it'll be so much that I need to do, but I can't actually do it. And I'll actually get really, really frustrated doing it. Like it'll be like, oh my goodness, I can't get this task done. I can't complete this task. My brain is just not focusing on it. My brain is just entirely somewhere else. So yeah, that's usually how I experience it. Kinesis films, I usually do get very busy and overwhelmed, but I can't actually tackle it. I can't actually focus on it whatsoever. And it actually causes me to get quite stressed out. Like, I'll be like, oh my goodness, there's all this stuff I need to deal with and there's all this stuff I need to do, but I actually don't do it. And I'm just thinking about it the whole time and it drives me crazy. So yeah, that's usually what a Mercury retrograde is like for me. Okay, your natal Mercury is retrograde. Okay, that's very interesting. Usually like a person who has a natal Mercury retrograde will just have like somewhat of a more, confused mind, a little bit more ADHD, a little bit more scattered attention span and that kind of thing. Okay, but anyway, I'm getting off the topic here. So Venus enters Aquarius on February 1st. Now, like I said, yeah, Venus is the planet that rules over your love nature, your love style, and all those kinds of things. So when Venus enters Aquarius, we approach love, relationships, and connections with people way more casually. We do not need to be as overly invested and as connected to people in order to actually feel secure and safe within that interaction, connection, whatever the case may be. So what I mean by this is we will be much more keen to engage on casual interactions with people. We will actually be more keen to meet strangers during this time as well. So if you're a kind of person who's very antisocial, who's very anxious with actually dealing with people and that kind of thing, while Venus is in Aquarius, this will be much more accessible for you. Like you'll be much more open to just socializing and that kind of thing. When it comes to our relationships though, this Venus in Aquarius is not always the best placement, but it also depends on how you look at it, because obviously different people have different needs. But when Venus is in Aquarius, we do focus more on our friendships. We focus more on strangers, people we don't know, and we're more interested in these people than we actually are in the people we're close to. So the people in our lives can get a little bit frustrated with us while Venus is in Aquarius, because we're actually not connecting with them the way we should, and we're actually not applying as much attention to them than what we should be. So Venus in Aquarius is a time where instead of giving your focus, your time, and your energy to love and affection, partnership, and love relationships, you should actually give your time, love, and affection to other people that you actually don't really know, to strangers in your community. That's basically what it represents. It also basically means that you will be more interested in people who you can connect with in a mental sense and who have similar interests as to what you do. So you'll also want to meet people and engage with people that are different from what you actually know, different from what you're currently aware of, and You just want kind of like a breath of fresh air into your life. You want to deal with people that are unconventional. You want to deal with people that are different and who can basically, like I said, give you all this additional insight and this whole new experience in your life compared to what you've already experienced. So while Venus is in Aquarius, make sure that you do all the things, like I mentioned earlier, that's associated with Aquarius season. Reach out to people that you don't know. Connect with strangers. Connect with the community around you, and don't focus too much on things like love, things like affection, and things like partnerships right now, because there will be a time and a place for that. Obviously, you do need to give some kind of, attention to your partnership if you are in one. So I'm not saying completely ignore your partner, but what I'm saying is, instead of, for example, spending the night with your partner watching a movie, rather organize like a Zoom party with a bunch of people and chat with them. That's basically what I mean. So that should be like the option you lean towards instead during Aquarius season. Instead of wanting to be alone, instead of, choosing to just do your own thing, be isolated or alone, allow yourself to engage with people more, because this is what Venus in Aquarius is about. It's not about being alone. It's not about introspection. It's not about, going deep into yourself. It's more about making time for many other people. Venus is currently weakening. Looking forward to it being on the evening side of the sun, the return of love and pleasure, the goddess of love. The morning side is the goddess of war. That's so interesting. Okay, so next up we are going to have the new moon in Aquarius. And the new moon in Aquarius is going to be on February 11th. Natural explorer. Sipping my rooibos tea to go with my connection into South Africa, talking astrology. Have you ever had a rooibos cappuccino, natural explorer? And have you ever had the amarula liqueur? I'm actually curious if you've actually tried that. Maybe like this year on your birthday, I'll do like a special thing for Patreon, and then I will send you like a package of amarula liqueur, and I'll send you some rooibos cappuccino if you haven't tried it. Okay, so let's see. Where was I? Oh, my ADHD is bad sometimes. New moon in Aquarius. Okay, great. So a new moon is a time of new beginnings. It's a time of a fresh cycle. It's a new start. So when we experience a new moon in Aquarius, it's basically got a very big connotation with the future. So what I mean by this is, because Aquarius represents the future, it represents what is coming. A new moon in Aquarius basically represents needing to cut your ties from your past and start basically focusing solely on the future. So it's important that on this night, if there's anything from your past that has been bothering you, if there's anything in your past that you're holding on to and that's kind of slowing you down, causing stagnance in your life, causing negative experiences in your life, or whatever the case may be, try and figure out a way to let go of this and move on from this and solely start focusing on the future. So basically, what the new moon in Aquarius would represent is, if the sun is in Leo, the sun, oh sorry, if the sun is in Aquarius, I'm getting confused now. If the sun is in Aquarius, then how would I explain this? Okay, so if the sun is in Aquarius, and there's a new moon in Aquarius, we basically need to step into the side of ourselves that we need to become, that will allow us to progress into what we need to in the future. And we do need to let go of our more emotional, we do need to let go of like the emotional tendencies that we have and our emotional things we hold on to, which would be represented by Leo, which is Aquarius's opposite sign. Now, we had a full moon in Leo. That's where the confusion came in. We had a full moon in Leo, and basically the full moon in Leo, like I mentioned earlier, was about harnessing, accepting, loving, and really, really going into what you feel in your heart and being proud of what you feel in your heart. The new moon in Aquarius is very different to this. So the new moon in Aquarius is a time where you should actually kind of forget about your heart. I know that sounds harsh, but you must kind of forget about your emotions. You must forget about the things you're holding on to. You must forget about the things that, you know, the emotional things that you feel and that make you feel negative, or just things that kind of slow you down emotionally, and you just need to detach yourself. Aquarius is a sign of detachment. It's basically a sign that does not really like to be attached to people. It's a sign that does not like to be attached to relationships. It wants to be free. It wants to be independent. It wants to move forward, doing its own thing, living life it wants to live, living life like it wants to live, without actually, you know, having attachments and things dragging them down. Now, this is basically what the new moon in Aquarius is about. It's about releasing those attachments so that you can have emotional freedom. Now, you will only achieve emotional freedom, and you'll only really achieve that sense of emotional liberation and sense of feeling secure within your emotions and not having things dragging you down and burdening you, if you allow yourself to detach from it. And this is basically what the new moon in Aquarius is going to do to us. It's going to cause us to detach from that which doesn't serve us. And as we move into this new cycle, we're going to let go of it. We're going to have that Aquarian mentality of detachment when it comes to our emotions regarding those things that we just do not need in our lives anymore, those emotions that are weighing us down. Okay, wow, there's a lot happening here. Okay, so the only rooibos we get over here is tea, usually tea bags. Okay, cool. So maybe on your birthday this year, I'm going to send you rooibos cappuccino. It is so good. Okay. Yes, Dash, the rooibos cappuccino is really, really good. I really enjoy it because it's caffeine free. I can't actually have caffeine. I can't actually like have a caffeine because I've got an anxiety thing. And as soon as I have caffeine, I'm like bouncing off the walls and I'm this far from an anxiety attack. So I really enjoy the rooibos cappuccinos because it's caffeine free, which is quite nice. Wait, how do you make it? Do you steep the tea bags in the coffee or use the tea to brew the coffee in? There's different ways you can actually make it. Oh yeah, okay, so Dash is telling you. It's usually comes in a powder that you mix with hot water. Powder. I did not know there were so many rooibos variants. I will explore more what is available. It is an excellent tea, really good for digestion, so having after dinner. No, that's very true, Natural Explorer. My mom actually always used to give me rooibos tea when I was constipated when I was a kid, and that really helped with my tummy a lot. My mom actually never fed me formula or anything when I was a baby. She fed me rooibos tea. Like, she put rooibos tea in like a little baby bottle, and that's what she fed me. So I grew up on rooibos tea. It's quite interesting. I'm sure you can make it with steamed milk and rooibos tea. Some also call it red cappuccino, in case you find. You can, Dash. You can take like a concentrated amount of rooibos tea and then you put it with milk. But you need like way more than what you would put in a tea. Like you need about like three times the amount you'd put in a cup of rooibos tea to get like a cappuccino. Elle, what sign is your moon in? My moon is in Scorpio. I have a Scorpio moon. I actually have a 29-degree Scorpio moon. So I have like that very extreme version of the Scorpio moon because it's in the 29th degree. I gave coffee away on Boxing Day, so I have just been through coffee withdrawal all over now, and I have a really wide range of teas. Wow. So Boxing Day was like almost a month ago. Like, I think Boxing Day was, like 3 weeks ago. Okay, so you've been coffee free for 3 weeks now. How's that been treating you? I've also been like caffeine free for about like 2 months now. I used to have like a cup of like half a teaspoon of instant coffee in the mornings, but then that was too much for me. Like I'd have like just such a weak coffee in the morning, and then I'd basically have an anxiety attack, so I was like, nope, no more coffee whatsoever. So now I'm just much more calm and relaxed throughout the day. When I was working as a waitress when I was younger, I used to drink like 5-6 cappuccinos a day. I don't know how I did that. How South African babies are nurtured rooibos tea. That's so funny. Well, yeah, it's true. We nurture our babies with rooibos tea. I think if I have a baby, I'll also probably give my baby rooibos tea. It's really healthy. Apparently rooibos tea is really, really good for your immune system as well. Ella, you are Ayurvedically Vata, primarily air and space elements, constipation, anxiety, and hyperactivity. Wow, that is spot on, Kinesis Films. That is spot on. I'm very hyperactive, and anxious. Yeah, you're totally right. And I do get constipation quite often. Oh goodness, my mother is calling me now. Well, I'm sorry, Mom, I really can't answer this call right now. I'm in a live stream. We'll call her back later. Anyway. So where was I? Yeah, that's quite spot on, Kinesis Films, definitely. I always used to think like the constipation was linked to all my Virgo aspects, because I have like quite a strong Virgo imprint as well. Usually Virgos have issues with their stomach and their digestion because they're also quite nervous. They keep a lot of stress and anxiety in their stomach, and that basically stops them from actually digesting food. Tell her to tune in. I don't think that's gonna happen. Okay. It took well over 2 weeks to feel like I was getting over the withdrawal. Coffee is really acidic on the stomach. So glad. Yeah, that is so true, Natural Explorer. I've actually also, whenever I would have a cup of coffee, my tummy would like, you know, be very messed up. So I think it's also got to do with the acidicness in it. And I've also noticed that the coffee used to like increase the inflammation in my body. So I would actually have more, you know, like muscle cramps, constipation, or acne, or whatever the case may be, if I drink too much coffee. So it's very true. It's quite acidic, and it can also be quite, you know, quite hectic on your body. I actually, I read somewhere that coffee actually increases your adrenaline. It activates your adrenal glands or something like that. So in a lot of people, it triggers like a fight or flight response. So it's literally like they're in a state of danger, you know, when they drink coffee. Like that is the way that their body reacts to it. And that is how I feel when I drink coffee. Like I literally feel like I'm running for my life. Like it is so, so intense. Love, Mum. My 4th house is in Aquarius. Everything you said applies to me in my home life. Oh, that's really cool. I'm glad that you can resonate with what I said. At first it increases acidity, then later increases alkalinity and can screw up your small intestine digestive process. Yes, that is very true. I went for this blood test once, and I also they told me on this blood test that I mustn't drink coffee because the coffee basically gives me, it messes with my intestines and it causes me to actually not digest food properly, which was also, you know, like I said, leading to the inflammation in my body, leading to inflammation in my stomach and all of that. Okay, but anyway, I'm talking too much about coffee. Let me get back into the last aspect for Aquarius season, which is going to be Saturn square Uranus. Now, Saturn square Uranus is actually the biggest transit or aspect that will happen this year. It is very, very important. It is the most vital one. So basically, Saturn square Uranus happens around every 14 years. So Saturn square Uranus is quite a rare transit. It's not a transit that we experience often. Like I said, only every 14 years. And what Saturn square Uranus does is it basically brings change into our lives, change into society and the world around us that we really, really do not want. This is change that we do not agree with. This is change that we do not like. This is change that goes against what we stand for, what we value, and what we actually believe in. And this change causes so much internal conflict within us. It's a very tricky time because there are so many things happening around us. The world is changing so drastically fast, and we do not know how to really adapt ourselves to these changes. So we still hold on to what we know. We still hold on to our structures, which is represented by Saturn. We want to hold on to the comfort. We want to hold on to that foundation, that which we are familiar with. And Uranus is obviously representing massive changes, like huge changes coming our way, and we do not want these changes. It's making us incredibly uncomfortable. Now, the thing about this transit is that Saturn is a planet that represents limitations. Saturn is a planet that represents structure, it represents authority. It is a planet that likes to limit us, but at the same time, it helps us be more responsible. And through limiting us, allowing us to be more responsible, we actually end up working hard and we end up doing what we need to do to be successful. So Saturn's a bit of a catch-22 planet, because Saturn's like, okay, I'm limiting you, I'm stopping you. But if you adhere to these limitations, you will succeed. You will be successful. But the thing is, when there's a Saturn square Uranus, this can't really happen. When there's a Saturn square Uranus, the things that you would usually lean into that's comfortable for you and that's, stable, the things that the limitations that you're aware of that you have to put onto yourself in order to be successful and in order to do that which you need to do in life and accomplish things, you can't. You just can't apply these limitations anymore. And the thing is, or you can be trying to, but it's going to be so difficult to apply those values and limitations onto yourself in this current changing society. Things are changing so much that it's going to be impossible for you to hold on to those old values that you have, and you're basically going to literally drive yourself insane doing this. So Saturn square Uranus is a very important time for release. It's an important time to actually release things that you hold on to, even though you might feel like, this is what I need, this is what I love, this is what I trust, this is what I have known my life, like this is me. Those things that you hold on to, a lot of those things you will have to change. A lot of those things are actually not in alignment with what is necessary for positive change to happen in the world around you and within your life. You might not realize it. You might think that the specific limitations and values that you hold to yourself are beneficial for you, and it's beneficial for your life, and it's the right thing to do. And you might be so stuck in that mindset of knowing, or that mindset of thinking that you know exactly what is best for you, but you don't. You really don't right now. Most of us actually don't. Right now, because Saturn square Uranus is upcoming, most of us has actually no idea what is the right thing to believe. We have no idea, what is the ultimate thing or the ultimate truth. So what will also end up happening is that you're going to eventually become aware of what influences, impact people in your life are just not right for you and just not within your best interest anymore. What I mean by this is, let's say for example, you've been friends with a person for 20 years of your life, and you are so attached to this friendship with this person. You're so attached to this person because you've known them for so long, you've become comfortable with them, you know how to interact with them and that kind of thing. But deep down inside, you know that this person is incredibly toxic, this person is incredibly draining to you, and this person actually does not have a very positive influence in your life. You've known this person for 20 years, but they haven't actually brought a single good thing into your life. And you know this deep down inside, but you don't really want to deal with it. You don't really want to face it. Maybe this person has caused some drama for you. Maybe this person has caused some negative experiences in your life, but you overlook it and you leave this person in your life. You've done this now for 20 years. This is just an analogy. When Uranus square Uranus happens, you will realize very, very deeply that you can not continue any longer with this friendship with this person where they're draining you, where they're basically, you know, not serving you anything, even though you really, really admire them and you really, really like them, you really like who they are, what they represent, you love hanging out with them, but they're just so incredibly toxic. During Saturn square Uranus, you will notice that something will most likely happen that will push you to put a step in place for that to change. You'll most likely end the friendship. You'll most likely tell your friend what you feel, but you will not be able to proceed into the future with that sense of stagnance behind you. By that, what I mean is, even though we might think to ourselves, things aren't going to change, even though we might think to ourselves, I don't want to change things because I consciously don't want to change things, and nothing's going to change because I'm holding on to these things I believe in. I'm holding on to my thoughts, my emotions, my experiences and everything, and I'm not changing for anything or anyone. Life is going to push you to have to change. Life is going to push you to see how that belief you have or that action that you might have or whatever the case may be is incredibly detrimental to you, how it's incredibly negative to you, even though you might have thought it was positive for you for so long. You might have thought that this specific thing in your life was a great, great thing in your life and it's been helping you, it's been serving you, but actually it has not. Saturn square Uranus is a time where we are going to be forced to give up our stubbornness. We're going to be forced to give up our sense of self-importance, our sense of wanting to do what we want, wanting to do what we feel is right, wanting to lean with what we prefer. And we're going to have to change that according to what is really right. And the thing is, this is going to be very tricky for a lot of us, especially if you're a person who's very proud, if you're a person who's quite, how do I say, you feel very assured in your vision of life. You feel very assured in your opinion. You feel that you know things, like you know the truth. Like if you feel like, you know, you're a person who everything that you believe in is right and nobody can challenge you, nobody can tell you anything, you're going to suffer the most during Saturn square Uranus. Because this is the time where you're actually going to be shown that you have not been right all along. You might have thought that you've been right all along, but you weren't. And you will be hit with a massive, massive reality check regarding this. So basically, let me just end off on this. This is not, during Saturn square Uranus is not a time where you should be resisting any kind of change in your life. It's also not a time where you should be arguing with any kind of alternative ideas, alternative values, or going against that. And you should actually allow this into your life. If you're going to resist change, if you're going to overreact to what you're presented with, and you are not going to allow your deepest values and beliefs to be challenged and to be changed, you are going to suffer quite extensively during Saturn square Uranus, and you will eventually be pushed by external circumstances to look at how you are wrong, to look at how what you might believe is right might not necessarily be right. Things have changed so much over the last, I'd say 10 years. Maybe like the last 20 years, but the last 10 years have been crazy. And the thing is, there is so much information and there's just so much going on out there that I think a lot of people become very attached to an idea or a truth. But the thing is, this is a time, especially because we're within the age of Aquarius as well, The age of Aquarius basically started the end of last year. This is a time where we need to tell ourselves that there is no ultimate truth, and we need to keep ourselves open-minded and receptive to basically all kinds of information right now. The age of Aquarius is the age of information. If you are going to be attached to one piece of information, you're going to limit yourself entirely within this age of Aquarius. It's very, very important that you explore all avenues of information. Okay, let me read these comments. Oh, this coffee chat. Yeah, Kinesis Films. If you actually watch my 2021 astrology predictions video, I actually did mention that I do believe there's going to be a big financial crisis globally. I think next month, in about a month from now, we can expect to see a major global financial crisis. So can be that the stock markets plummet. Another thing I also mentioned in my 2021 predictions video is that I have a feeling that one of the presidents or a very important political figure will be pushed out of his position during this time. So I have a feeling that there's going to be a person who's quite an important person, like a president or political figure, and he is going to be pushed out of his position likely by society, by the people, or I actually don't know, it could be anything. But yeah, that is more or less what I see upcoming, globally and collectively in terms of, actual events or things that can happen relating to the Saturn square Uranus. Go have a look at my 2021 predictions video. You'll see that I made a video about all the aspects of 2021 and what we can expect to manifest, in the world around us in terms of specific events and that kind of thing. When I do these, what to expect through the season videos, it's more about, what you can expect personally, like what you can expect from your experience of life. But when I do my predictions videos, I'll usually include the predictions and those kind of things, so go check that out. The building. Uranus is my ruling planet over the natal chart due to the conjunct the ascendant. I've always had big dramas over the limiting rules and regulations of Satin. Sounds to be getting more full on soon. Yeah, it's gonna get quite crazy, Natural Explorer. We are all, not just some of us, we are all going to be challenged when it comes to our beliefs, Even I have beliefs that I can already actually see how they're starting to be challenged, and I'm actually experiencing quite a bit of internal conflict regarding this because I'm trying to figure out, what must I believe, if that makes sense. You are as young as you feel is how I feel about it. Yeah, that's true. I honestly sometimes feel like I'm really, really old. Like if I look at people my age, I'm not like anyone my age actually. Like everyone my age is much different to me. I sometimes feel like I need to be grouped in with an older age group. Okay, awesome guys. So that is my live stream for today. So yeah, like I said, when Saturn square Uranus occurs, it's going to be very, very tricky for us. It's going to be very difficult. We're going to be challenged a lot regarding, you know, the things that we're comfortable with, the things that we know, and we're going to have to change a lot of this. And like I said, collectively and globally, we can actually just experience probably a financial crisis that can occur. I don't know if I'm wrong, but I think last time there was a Saturn square Uranus was when the recession occurred. It was a global recession then, but I might be wrong. Very often I can confuse aspects with each other because there's so many aspects. But yeah, I think around the time the last Saturn square Uranus occurred, there was a recession. So there can be something along the sorts coming again. I am experiencing my Saturn return at this time. Oh, that's interesting. So you're having a Saturn return in Aquarius. You're a full-on youngster, but mature for your age. Thank you so much. Okay, awesome. So thank you so much for joining me, everyone. And yeah, I will see you guys again next month. Every month I do one live stream on YouTube where I basically cover all the transits for that specific zodiac season. So I'll be doing another video again for Pisces season and what you guys can expect for Pisces season. If you haven't already, please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed this live stream. If you're not subscribed to my channel, make sure that you subscribe to my channel. And then yeah, keep an eye out for my videos if you want to see any more astrology and spirituality related contents. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you all next time.